All right, so we're working in the shop today. It is a Friday, TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. It's a week after our big microcar show, and I got a lot of microcars ready for the show, before the show, and so now I feel like I can treat myself to working on my own car. This is my 1969 Subaru 360. I call it my vintage race car. It was not my intention of buying this car. Actually bought it for somebody else, one of my good buddies who will remain nameless, and backed out at the last moment, so I ended up with the car. In prior videos I showed you I did some body work here. This quarter panel was crushed, and I put an engine in it with the Weisco pistons, and to make it a vintage race car it's got to have race car attributes, so I'm not going to change it too much because these cars are so rare. I want to paint it nice. Maybe put some meatball numbers on the sides. But the one thing that I really wanted to do, and it's been bothering me because a lot of Subarus, well, Subaru 360s are two-stroke and their exhaust is pretty restricted, is I really wanted dual expansion pipes, expansion chambers, dual. And there's just no room. But you know what? Let me get in here. I think I got it figured out. I know it looks like a jumble here, and it's kind of a mess. What we're looking at here is the firewall. This sits behind the back seat underneath the gas tank. So there's panels, little square panels. Let's see if I got one here. Here they are. So there's two of these. I think one goes there and one goes on the other side. And then I had to cut the center part out, which is a big no-no for vintage microcars, but there was just no way I could get those big old huge Yamaha Banchee expansion chambers in there. And if you look, you can see I've cut the chambers because they just were twisted all wrong. And if you look close, you'll see I actually crisscrossed them. So we've got one exhaust port here and another exhaust port there, and I couldn't make this pipe come and connect here, but I could if you crossed it over from the other cylinder. So what I'm going to do is I'll have to fit a little extension in there. That shouldn't affect performance too much. This one is going to be just an inch or so longer, and I've got to modify the air shroud. Obviously, we have to have the air shroud on there. That's where the fan is there. It blows cool air 90 degrees and back and out over the cylinders. If we don't have that, we don't have an engine. So it's just tight, 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 tight in there. And that's why I had to do the cutting on the firewall. I figure I can patch it up. I can put a panel, custom panel over that, and in the back seat, nobody will ever know. And it'll give me good access because these pipes are really difficult to get in and out. If I ever have to work on it, I have to pull the pipes off. So I've got one pipe here and one pipe there. The exits actually point down, which is a really good thing, but I had a really hard time getting those to fit. I didn't want them to hang underneath the car and drag. I didn't want them to be outside the bumper. I didn't want them to be in the passenger compartment. So it took a lot of engineering. Had to move fuel lines, had to move brake lines, had to move the cables for the hood release, but all that stuff is movable. So all I've got to do now is do some tack welding and see how it's all going to work. I'm going to have to leave them independent. I don't think I can pull both of them out at once, but anyhow, stuff is just set in here, but I have a clear vision now, whereas before I didn't. So it should be pretty cool. And if you're not familiar with the Yamaha Banchee, it's 350 cc's. Of course, it's water cooled and has some type of intake valve, whether it's rotary or reed, I'm not sure. The Subarus are old school. And I'll show you what it looks like underneath. They are 50s technology, just piston port. I gotta climb down. And we'll go underneath here. Show you how tight it is. Oh, another thing I gotta worry about is the axle swing too, so the axles can't hit the expansion pipe. Here's my expansion pipe here. It's actually resting on the axle. I've got to move that up. And the outlet is right here. See, there's a hole there. And there's another one right there. Right there's the other one. So that way I can just make a little 90-degree bend and put some mufflers here underneath the valance in the back. I think that'll be pretty cool. So I'm kind of excited. It's been a lot of work just trying to engineer that, you know. It's just the way it is. So this is our little 360 two-stroke Subaru race car, and hopefully it'll sound like a race car with some pipes. I've also got the Banchee mufflers. Let's see if I can make those work. But they're nice. I'll have to cut the pipes, of course. Stock Banchee stuff is very cheap. Exhaust stuff, I should say. I think I got both pipes and the mufflers for $25 off eBay. So I don't feel bad about cutting and bending and welding. And if it turns out that it makes this car really go good, that will be a huge benefit. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for following along, and thanks for putting up with me and my quest to make Subaru 360s better.